Real story of the sinking of the iconic ship, but also looks at the variety of members of society on board. One character who features in the show is Second Officer Lightoller. Based on a real person who was actually on the great ship Titanic in 1912, our first guest has the honour of playing this Titanic survivor, who was also regarded as instrumental in the evacuation efforts. Have a look.
Mother, please! I just can't. That's all there is to it. I'm staying right here.
Can I help? Can I help?
Yes, my mother won't wear a life vest, and I won't get on the boat.
Mrs. Gibson, you want to help Dorothy, don't you? She won't leave without you, so for her to be safe, you must be safe.
Thank you, Mr. Lightoller.
Oh, wait. Here, take this.
Can you carry a bottle of brandy?
There may be others on the boat who need it. Especially if you pull anyone in for yourself. Go.
Please welcome Stephen Waddington. Now, how was it playing someone who was an actual survivor of the Titanic? How much research did you put into the character?
It's daunting, because they actually were alive. I did lots of research. He's a fascinating guy as well. I mean, the film's not about him, it's not about Lightoller, but you could make a film out of that guy's life. He had an extraordinary, difficult life, and he's kind of known as being as a bit of a hero throughout history, although Julian wanted to play the flaws as well in this, which I think is a good idea.
And what flaws then?
Well,
and northern as well, isn't it?
He is northern,
That's not a flaw, though.
No, very day.
Well, you weren't allowed to play in northern.
Well, it's not that I wasn't allowed to play northern. What happened was everyone was cast by one director who fell ill, couldn't do it. So we had another director who at the read-through got his head together with Julian and sort of said, we want Lightoller to be a little more posher. So I sort of went into the read-through talking like that and then came out talking like this. So it's not really my interpretation, I have to say, of that character, because I saw him as more playing the northern edges, because he had a really rough ride.
Because you don't actually, being a northerner, because, I can talk about this, you don't lose it, do you? You always have that northern grit and you always have that accent, so I bet you are missing sort of putting the northern slant on it.
It's not so much just his accent and things, I think it's what he'd been through, and the way that I saw the character. Anyway, I think it works, because it's not about him, it's a real ensemble piece, and it fits in perfectly.
And how you were talking about Julian Fellows, who wrote Downton Abbey. He has written this as well, hasn't he?
He has,
Yes.
Which is, listen, they've really set themselves up. It's a risky business, because you're talking about Julian Fellows and Titanic, and immediately think of Cameron's Titanic and Downton Abbey, so they're big shoes to fill.
And what's the budget? It's a crazy budget.
11 million, I think.
Wow, for TV.
How does it differ then from both of those epic things, from Downton and Titanic? Has it taken aspects of both, or is it very standalone?
I think it has taken aspects. I think the selling point with this really is the premise and the conceit that it hits the iceberg every episode.
Oh, you spoiled it for me now.
Did you not watch it?
I'm joking.
No,
it's every episode.
Every episode, which some people don't quite like, but I tell you, it's one way you have to stick with it to gain some momentum, to find out about the characters and the relationships. There are lots of secrets revealed and things that you wouldn't suspect, and things that will be shed. Sorry, go on.
Good. I was just going to say, it's all the human stories, but do they overlap as the episodes, or are they just isolated, separate stories?
They do overlap. Yeah, we had to shoot all of the scenes just from a different character's point of view, so there was heavy scheduled shooting. But it's like, imagine if it's a block, if you turn it around now, on Sunday you'll see someone else's point of view, and then you turn it around again.
So it's a permanent emergency situation?
It is, yeah. About halfway through it's an emergency, but I think what's fascinating is the people's relationships and secrets that reveal.
So where's the set? It must be a massive set.
It's a huge set in Hungary, yeah.
In Hungary?
No water inside. It's a landlocked country, Hungary. We did it all in the studio, and then we built a huge tank, and then for the last 2 weeks dived into the tank.
So when you went for the meeting, did they ask you if you could swim?
Do you know, they didn't, and I thought, what if I couldn't swim? I had lots and lots of swimming to do. They could,
Because you'd be in a tank, weren't you? Did you do any of that?
We're in a huge tank. It's a huge tank width-wise, but you can actually walk.
Oh, well, you might be able to walk. Some of us might.
Did they freeze it? for a bit of authenticity.
No, they didn't. It was
No.
absolutely sweltering. And
Was
I'm wearing my pyjamas and the uniform because my character, he was got out of bed, he was wearing his pyjamas and put his uniform on top, and it's sweltering and lots of, swimming. So it was quite
Sorry, following on from, one iconic programme to another, The Sweeney. You're involved in the remaking of The Sweeney, but the movie this time. Tell us a bit about that.
The Sweeney the movie,
About time.
It is about time, isn't it? Yeah. Nick Love. You know Nick Love, he did The Business, and he's the man if you want to do a violent movie. And it
Did
is
he direct it or write it? Or?
He wrote and directed it, yeah.
Right. Don't tell me that The Business, Danny Dyer's in it.
He's not in it.
He's not in it?
Ray Winston's in it.
Is he?
Oh, there was a rumor that Danny was playing the Dennis Waterman part.
There was, yeah. No, he did. Plan B plays that part.
And who are you?
I'm just one of the Sweeney. Just shooting.
Just
people.
one of the Sweeney.
That's the idea.
Thank you.
Do you get to beat up lots of crims and
I
all
beat
that?
up crims, I get shot, I shoot people. It's a good
Was that a joy? Did you do that first or
I did
after?
that just after Titanic, so yeah, it's a completely different change of tack. I've worked with Ray Winston before, it's great to work with Ray again, and completely different. It's nice to be able to do one thing.
I notice as well as you're waving your hand around, you've got a tattoo.
Oh, knock yourself full.
But yeah, they each have significant meanings, which I'm not going to tell you about. I've got loads.
They all seem to be linked, though. Some people's tattoos are quite disparate. Yours seem very similar.
I like mine in a bit of a frame. I don't know why that is. But it's just an idea that I came
Let's have a look at that one again.
What makes you do that then, Stephen? What made you? So you've got quite a few.
Yeah.
What is it that you like about them?
Well, I have to say this was pre-explosion, pre-tattoo explosion. I started sort of '89 was my first one on my ankle, and
What have you got on your ankle?
I'm not telling you. And since the explosion, here we go.
Now that is very pretty.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Flowers.
Thank you.
Flowers. It's a vine. It's
Do you
lovely.
know she's like a little ferret?
So where did you get the... I mean, does it run in the family or...
My dad's got a tattoo of my mum's name there, Avril. And ever since I was a kid, it's like, I'm going to get one of them. As soon as I'm 16, he said, wait. I did wait, but then when I was about 18, I started getting
Have
tattoos.
you thought about it, what's going to look like when you're like 85?
Yeah, already the belly's gone, so it's like, it used to be really nice and tight, now it's just got wider. It's just a bigger tattoo.
It's funny though, your dad said wait, he obviously tried to dissuade you from having it done.
He did, yeah. I think, yeah.
What's interesting about your dad as well, we were reading that you had an option, a real kind of crossroads in your life where your dad got you a perfectly good job, didn't he?
Yeah.
What was it to
He
do?
put my name down, he's a miner, he's a steel worker and a miner. And he put my name down on the list and my name came up when I was 16 and I was going to take it. But my drama, Ian Fairbrass, the guy who taught me acting basically at school, said have a think about it, maybe you should stay on. My dad said that's a good idea, try and be an actor. So I don't think my dad realised how risky that is, Yeah, be an actor, have a go at that,
Well, thank goodness you did.
Oh, yeah.
You made me sat here,
Ding,
you poor man. Fantastic talking to you, and best of luck with this series. It's Titanic ITV1 Sundays at 9 p.m. It's Stephen Waddington, everyone. Okay, it is competition time again, and if your cash flow is